your destination for FRC content, updates, and gaming.
Welcome to the fun.
FRC Updates Now is supported by Stryker Careers. If you are a college student or recent graduate looking for an incredible internship, take a look at Stryker. Stryker provides a housing stipend, great pay, and an opportunity to work with state-of-the-art medical technology equipment. Discover why so many FRC alumni are coming to Stryker for their internship or career at careers.stryker.com. FRC Updates Now is supported by Kettering University. Kettering University hosts 3 co-op employment fairs each year for incoming and current students. Participating in the co-op employment process at Kettering is a great way to begin turning your robotics experience into a professional career to earn money towards graduating debt-free. If you are a senior, it's not too late to apply at kettering.edu/apply.
All right, with that being said, we'll get it started here. And our 25th ranked team for week 1 of 2022 is going to be Team 7407 from Wallingford, Connecticut, and Choate Rosemary High School. It's the Wired Boars. Going a perfect 18-0. They took home the gold at the Granite State event in the New England district. So just what a way to enter the top 25 club. I believe this is the first time on the board ever for the Wired Boars, but I could be mistaken. I think they have been around since 2019. So like we had mentioned earlier, no videos on the blue lines for them, but holy cow, I really think this team, by the sounds of it, just kind of their record here, might be a little bit higher. And higher on the top 25, and maybe just because it's not of a known thing, but that just really shows that our Fun Nation was watching, and we got a lot of voters up in New England. So they don't compete again for about a whole month. We won't see them again until the Hartford event, which is later in April. So congratulations to 7407, the Wired Boars, for their 25th spot.
I was just going to say, this is a team, I agree, very their performance was great. They're an open alliance team, so they've had a lot of stuff showing out there. If you're interested in seeing more about the Wired Boars, make sure you go check them out. But yeah, definitely spot on. Underrated early season. I think as they start to perform more in the New England district, you're going to start seeing them more and more up higher in the FRC top 25.
Nice. So our 24th ranked team is going to be Team 3847 from Houston, Texas, and St. Agnes and Strake. It always messes me up because it's my last name. And Strake Jesuit College Prep Schools. It's Spectrum with an overall record of 16-2. They were the winners of the Dripping Springs event this past weekend in First in Texas. So this also Open Alliance team is picking up right where they left off at this event, where they won it back in 2020 with a 2.75 ranking score average through 12 matches. I believe they went 10-2. They placed second in the rankings and were picked up by the number 1 alliance, and then would win on 6 straight. Their swerve bot has a steady 2-ball auto and is a consistent mid-level climber. Maybe a little bit more improvement in auto later this season. They really kind of shoot their balls and move back a little bit, but that's it. And maybe a higher traverse climb. I'm not sure if they have the capabilities or not to do that. I haven't been following really them on the Open Alliance, but we'll see them again in a couple weeks at the Pasadena event later this month. And thank you to PJ in the chat for keeping track of the top 25. That's always very helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Moving on to our 23rd ranked team, that's going to be Team 5172 from Greenbush, Minnesota, and Greenbush Middle River School. It's the Gators. They have an overall record this year of 14-1, and they were the winners of the Northern Lights Regional this past weekend. So no stranger to the top 25. The Gators are here again and have stamped yet another year in the record books when they went 8-1 with a 3.22 ranking score average, and they just have a really fast swerve drive bot that just had to fight through some really tough defense there in the finals. They're also quick with their intake and shooting from all over the field, taking advantage of those protected zones as well. So congrats on the win, and they'll be competing again at their second regional, the Great Northern Regional, here in a couple weeks as well.
Gators have been a team that I've been following for a long time. I did the preview for the Northern Lights Regional. I'm very optimistic on this team that they're going to just keep continuing dominating. They are by far, in my opinion, the best team ever to come out of Minnesota, and especially at a championship level. For what they are as well, too. So really looking forward to seeing more out of Gators. I think they're a little bit underrated at 23, but still congrats to them for getting on the list, and I can't wait to see them perform even more.
Absolutely.
I literally
go ahead.
Had just brought up Gators this past weekend, seeing that the Minnesota regionals were happening, and I was like, man, I wonder what they're up to, because the last time I remember seeing them, I don't even remember what year it was. Was it they've always had really, really good robots, but I
Mhm.
distinctly remember maybe it was 2017
I
around that
think
time
2018.
frame.
I think was they had a pretty crazy machine, if I remember right.
Mhm. Sounds right.
Either way, excited that they're back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Very
good
dominant
start
in
to
that from that part of the country. Yeah, absolutely. All right, and our 22nd spot is going to be Team 2200 from Burlington, Ontario, Canada, and MM Robinson High School. It's MM Robotics. An overall
Robotics.
record of with an overall record of 30-1. They were the winners of both of the Humber College
Yeah.
events this past weekend. So, our first Ontario District Team of the year, and another familiar face here at in the top 25 with 2200. And what a start for this team! Getting 2 district events out of the way early really could kind of be a good or a bad thing. Imagine if you're having a really rough go at it, like catastrophic failures all around, and you had to go and compete again like the very next day. So, like fortunately, that was not the case for Robotics, and they got 2 number 1 seeds. They had a 2.55 and a 3.11 ranking score average, respectively, and 2 wins.
Mike roboted out a little bit, but that's all right. So.
What's that?
You roboted out a little bit, Mike.
Starlink, man, it's raining here.
That's all right. No worries. So. But yeah, 20,
right, we're good.
No worries, man. Yeah, 2200. Unfortunately, Canada, I don't know what happened to their webcast and their archive, but unless they just put them up, they don't have anything up, even from Twitch. So hopefully they'll get that up soon. So I think it was very difficult for a lot of teams to see if you didn't watch live to get to kind of do some research on this team. But this team is probably top 10, I would say, for sure in my book.
Nice. And we're going to be seeing them again at the Water. Justin's not here to finish that. So
Lou. There we go.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. All right, so rounding out the first 5 teams, our 21st ranked team is going to be Team 1477 from Conroe, Texas, and the Woodlands College Park High School. It's Texas Torque. An overall record of 15-3. They were the finalists at the Waco event this past weekend. So, kind of on a side note, my wife and I lived in Houston earlier last year, kind of almost a year ago. And out in Conroe, Texas, we have friends that live up there, and we were up in the Woodlands quite a bit. We had like I said, we had friends up there and we went to church up in the Woodlands, and it is exactly what you would think with the name of the Woodlands. It is a beautiful area. So great to see 1477 here again. Another non-stranger to the top 25. And they were, like I said, they were at that stacked Waco event with the likes of 148, 3310, 624, 2687, and so many more. So, and 2468 and so many more. So they would take the 4th spot and captain the 3rd alliance, where they would stare down the 148, 3310, 88, 58 alliance in the finals. Good all around robot, and I'm sure we'll see them again. So congrats to Texas Torque and good luck. Their next event will be the Pasadena event later this month.
So there's 2 teams on my list that in my personal list, I would not have put on the top 25. This is one of them. Texas Torque is a great team, no doubt for that. But, watching their performance and stuff, their finals 2 match, they pretty much played just defense on things. So they had a lot of potential for things. But, I personally would not have them on top 25 this week.
Good insight. Thank you, Tyler. All right, so that rounds out 25 through 21, and Christine's going to lead us 20 through 16.
Cool. So starting us off at the 20th spot from Temperance, Michigan, with Bedford Senior High School, we have the Bedford Express, Team 1023. So they were the Calvin University event finalists with a record of 12-6-1. So they ended the quals ranked 5th, and they were picked by the number 2 Alliance captain of 1918. They're a frequent flyer of fun. Honestly, like seeing their team number pop back up and feels good to be back. So they had a pretty solid start to the season. They ended their qualifications in 5th. When I was watching some of the matches this afternoon, like some of their playoff matches, if that's what we call them now, they had a really solid ability to switch between both offense and defense, obviously, believe they have a swerve drive from the looks of it. But they were really able to be adaptive as an alliance, member in the playoffs, which I thought was really impressive, especially just showing up to a week 1 event. And there was some really heavy defense at those Michigan events when I was watching some of the matches. So I thought that was a really great start to the season. Tyler, I don't know if you have any great data points on them you
I
want to
do,
share?
but you're not. But people probably aren't going to like to hear it, unfortunately. So this is the other team I would not have had on my top 25 personally. I did get to see Bedford play in person. So a couple things with Bedford. You're right; they do have a score drive, but if you watch this match on here, it is a really, really fast score drive that unfortunately is quite tippy with how they've been, and they did tip over at least in one match. On this as well. They had some issues with some of their mechanisms where they just weren't working, which is why you see them playing defense a bit more on there. So I like Bedford. We did a couple interviews with them. They're a fantastic team, and congrats to them on their chairman's award for the event. But top 25, like I said, there's two teams to me I would not have had in the top 25. I think this is the other one that I would not have had on there. Do they have the potential to be? Yes. At this rate, I don't think I would have put them up there.
Yeah, I think that they had a pretty good start to the season. It just seemed like they were, I mean, the more that I'm watching matches from week one events, there are a ton of swerve drives out there. And there's a huge difference between teams that have, I mean, and obviously I only know so much, but I would imagine there's some facet of it that is obviously machine like is able to do so much, or machine is doing too much. And then, driver can handle it and understand it. And then it just seems like they've definitely like they have a ton of space to like get better control over like the robot, and like Tyler was saying, they're a little tippy, but we will be seeing them again week 4 and week 7 because they already qualified for Michigan State champs, but we will be seeing them again week 4 at the sailing event presented by DTE in Saline, Michigan. So I think that maybe we'll see a better showing there, but I mean, not bad. Finalists and chairmans, and even if the numbers aren't that pretty,
no, definitely not. And a big part of it, I think, is the next team we're going to be talking about too on here too, Christine.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the number 19 spot from Fremont, Michigan, we have NC Gears. They were the finalists at the Calvin University District event. They were the captaining team 1023. They had an overall record of 13-5-1, and they took on the Creativity Award too, which is pretty sweet. Extra points in their back pocket. So they had picked the previous team that we had just talked about, and team 8612. And they really cruised their way through the quarters and the semis. And then there was some really, rough defense going on in the finals. And there was a lot of missed shots from what I had seen in those final matches from both, 1918 and 1023. But again, I think it's just as the season progresses, I think we're going to see them get more consistent and just more comfortable with, being sure about shooting or having the right lineup. Because watching both those teams work together, they both have really great capabilities, but it just seemed like they were kind of all over the place, or they weren't kind of like slowing down to take their shots. But we will be seeing them again. Let me pull up. So they're going to be heading, is it the same event in week 4 that team 1023 is going to be at?
Yeah, that's quite possible.
They'll be heading, so they're going to be competing again in week 4. I thought I had pulled up what that event was. Yep, so they're going to be at the West Michigan event, which is not the same event as the Bedford Express because there's always a billion, events going on in Michigan. But Mike and Justin, what did you think of 1918's kind of first field showing?
I actually wasn't able to see them live or on recap, so I can't really. I'm sorry, I can't really add anything additional.
No, it's fine. I can chime in on this. So yeah, 1918. Their shot, if you watch, they tend to do a close-up shot on the tarmac from where they are. I would say, from a teleop standpoint, above average team for sure. I think where they really shine is in their traversal climb of what they've had. It's been very consistent on them. It's pretty fast out there. It's not the fastest, right? It's not going to be at a citrus level or a 148 level quite yet. But very consistent of what they've had, and I really do like NC Gears. I think if they can start to get their auto a little more consistent, get that 5-ball going, I think they're going to be looking really good for their next event.
Absolutely, I would agree with you on that. Alrighty, so we're going to be moving on to the number 18 team out of Goodrich, Michigan, with Goodrich High School. It's the Martians, team 494. So they were finalists at the Kettering University event number 1 with an overall record of 14-4-0, and they were the captains of the number 2 alliance, taking home the quality award. The Martians took the field with their nice, tall, big green machine with a nice, solid shooter. It was interesting to see like their shooter mounted so low, because I feel like I'd seen so many teams this past week that had, their limelights up here and a turret, but they had a pretty cool shooter that was down lower on their robot compared to where some of the other mechanisms were. They again capped in the number 2 alliance, and they were really unmatched going up until the finals, where they fell to the number, I believe, 1 seed alliance. We see them again week 5, which feels like it's forever from now. They're going to be competing at the Macomb Community College event, and I feel like this team is such a staple in like FRC history that I was really excited to see them back up on the top 25. Tyler, is this a team that you feel good about them being on this list?
Yeah, I did get to see Martians play. We have a behind the glass video of them out, so if you want to see what it's like behind their driver's station with them, yeah, Martians looking really good. You know, they I didn't get a chance to see the finals in particular with this team, as I was at Kettering on Friday, and then went over to the Calvin College event. But yeah, 494, I like them a lot. A little bit, their shot is very interesting. If you actually, let me just go back on this video for just a second. You can see they do a low shot from their robot. It shoots into the high hub, so right here in the middle of the screen. High hub, but a low shot. I don't know why this keeps popping up, a weird pop-up ad. And they go from there. The one issue is it does take them a little bit longer to line up than I'd like to see from some teams. So, you know, I'd like to see them get their cycle times down faster, but their climb is really slick, and overall I think they're a fantastic machine.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like they had like a really smooth kind of path around the field. It didn't seem like they were getting really defended too hard, but again, week 1, perhaps we will see an evolution of them having faster cycle times.
Yeah,
especially before week 5.
They got some time, right?
Some magic happened. That's a lot of time to be playing with. Anything from you, Mike, or you just excited about the color of their machine? Perhaps I know that you didn't get to watch.
Yeah.
Wow,
I was not able to watch much this week.
There was a lot going. Like there were a lot of events on week 1, and there were a lot of good teams just spread all over the place. So
something by the way, kind of interesting. If you didn't know, so with spread of events, next week will be kind of strange because, and especially in week 3 too, there are no events in Canada until week 4. Coming up, which is so they canceled a whole bunch of them, so there are no events in Canada till week 4, so that will be, that's kind of weird, so we don't see 1114 2056 or anything like that till then, and then in our self-designated like US North region, I don't think there's any events week 3 in that region either, so it's just the way that events are spread out this year is very strange.
Definitely. Alrighty, so moving on, we are at the 17 spot from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with Divine Savior Holy Angels High School and Marquette University High School. It's the Hilltoppers. So they were the winners of the Lake Superior Regional with an overall record of 13-3-0, and they were winners of the Excellence in Engineering Award and had a sweet Dean's List advancement. So congrats on that. They were the awesome 5-ball auto. I don't know if we had seen any of that stuff on like any other recaps so far, but they had a pretty solid 5-ball auto. Tyler, were you? No, you were in Michigan this weekend.
Yeah, I did get to talk to a buddy of mine, Ryan Ginn, who is on that team, though, and I can tell you how proud they are of their performance this year. Hilltoppers has been a team that's really been on the brink for a long time. Like they have a couple blue banners. Don't get me wrong on that, but I know last couple of years, they wanted a little bit more than what they had, and this year absolutely lights out performance by them. Unlike this camera view where the screens are occupying a third of the screen, it's really bothering me. So, but 1732. Sorry, I'm sorry. If you want a weird one, watch the Izmir Regional in Turkey. That will throw you for a trip. But yeah, 1732. Quick cycle times on their robot. It's the interesting thing is there's nothing on that robot that's like super complex or anything like that. It's overall a pretty simple machine. The way that they work, they're just fast, efficient, and they are overall quite accurate for what they have. So kudos to you, Hilltoppers. Really proud to see a team from Wisconsin doing quite well. So nice job to Hilltoppers for really handily taking the Lake Superior Regional.
Yeah, and I think we'll sorry if you already mentioned, I think we'll see them a little bit in the Clips of the Week video coming up here in a little bit.
Oh, I didn't, but yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So, I would imagine so.
Very nice robot. Yeah.
I love their intake. Like, they just look really slick. And they're one of those teams that when they're swerving around the field, like, they look very sure of where they're going, why they're going there, and what they're doing next. Like, there's definitely, like, some really skilled driving going on behind that robot. And I would imagine it's only going to get better because we'll see them week 4 at the Wisconsin Regional, and then we'll see them again week 6 at the Midwest Regional before heading to the championship.
Man,
event
they
in
really want to go
Houston.
to the
So
World
they prep.
Championships and they qualify right away, right? So,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
too bad you can't get your money back on
there it
that.
is.
No, yes,
Yeah.
you can.
By the way, just a comment in chat, PJ saying, I've been saying 1732 is one year away from greatness for 5 years now. So hopefully this is the year.
Oh, yeah. So that would have been last year, though, right? Last year they would have
Yeah,
been
I
1 year. Yeah.
Last year doesn't count, okay?
Or a year before.
Wasn't even a
Yeah.
field, okay? All right, so moving on to our number 16 spot from Grand Rapids, Michigan with West Catholic High School. It's Enigma Robotics. They were winners of the Calvin University District and the Autonomous Award, and they had an overall record of 16-2-1. So Enigma Robotics, they had a pretty good start to the season. I feel like there's obviously we have so many good Michigan teams on here this top 25, but it looks like they had a really good start to their season. They picked up, let's see.
They were picked
Team
up by
33
3350s.
Yeah, number
3357
one.
Yeah, I
is
was
the
gonna
Lions
say, they got-
captain. Yeah.
And then 61-22 was their last pick, right?
Yep.
Yeah, obviously. So they cruised their way through the quarters and the semis, and then it seemed like based on the TVA stuff that I had been looking at, the final seemed like they were relatively close. I mean,
It did go to 3
Yeah.
matches.
The first
though, yeah.
match was a tie actually, and decided by traversal climb, or by hanger points, I should say.
I do feel like this game is more likely to have ties than games that we had seen in the past. And were there? I'd be curious.
Yeah,
see
it
if
seems
there are
like
any
so
other
far the
teams that have
spread
ties in
the
playoffs.
spread is a lot closer, than some other. When you get up into the hundreds and 100, then you can have teams that are like 15 to they win 185 to 10, or whatever. But yeah, this is a great little robot. I really did a rare, like we said earlier, a rare non-swerve drive robot with a turret, and I think they're really showing off kind of their quick shooter and accurate shooting under defense. I really think that's going to be, as the season comes on, progresses, and that's what's right there is what's going to kind of separate the great from the good. And I think that'll just come with driver practice in real time matches.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about the team, if you watch this finals 3 match, and we'll talk about Comets a bit later, spoiler. But Comets was shooting a lot from the launch pad area, which is, of course, is the protected zone, right? So 2075 Enigma was essentially being double teamed for half the match on there, and they're still making about 60% of their shots as they go through. So that they have that much defense played against them, and they're still doing that, kudos to them for something like that. And end game wise, you can see where their end game rank is. They're not a team that's hitting the traversal. So that is what it is. But their autonomous and their teleop have been looking really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, and then like you mentioned, Christine, winning the autonomous award there too.
Yep.
It's huge. Sweet deal. All right, so that rounds out 20 through 16. I want to pick things back up here with 15 through 10. So our 15th ranked team is going to be Team 6800 from Austin, Texas, and Vandergrift High School. It's Valor. They had an overall perfect record of 18-0, and they were the winners of the Fit Dripping Springs event. So I really love this robot. It's a mostly all black sort of drive machine that really speeds around the field, like really speeds. They have a turret shooter guided by the limelight and can hang high as well. Perfect quals record led them to the number 1 seed with a 2.91 ranking score average, and they would finish it in 6 matches there, scoring no less than 87 in the playoffs. So well done to Valor, and good luck. They'll be coming up at the hometown Austin event coming up as their next event.
Mike, I don't know if you know this, but our old producer Nick is now a mentor on 6800. He just moved.
I think you did mention that. Forgot.
So he moved. He just moved to Austin, but I know he's been remote mentoring for them. So shout out to Nick. Shout out to Michael. By the way, too, he's a fun host and the drive coach for 6800 as well, for a awesome performance by this team. And this is one of those teams where like you would never know they've only been around for a few years, because they really are starting to come out to that tier 1 level. And I think they're going to really be on top of those conversations with your 148s and 3310s this year.
Mm-hmm. No, they're fitting right in for sure. Well, that's why I said like it's mostly all black. I was like, kind of had to double take, because it's really in the likes of the way that they're playing and driving and everything. So
Nick's in chat. Hey Nick, what's up, man?
Mm-hmm. Very good. And congratulations to 6,800. All right, our 14th ranked team is going to be another fit team. It's going to be Team 624 from Katy, Texas, and Cinco Ranch High School. It's Kryptonite. They had an overall record of 11-5 when they were semifinalists at that Waco event. So back-to-back Texas teams for me here. And what a showing this week in Texas for sure, like I mentioned at the top of the show. So Kryptonite makes their 2022 return to the top 25 after going 10-2 in the Waco field, and they captained the second alliance behind 148 and 3310. They would lose in the semifinals to the number 3 alliance of 147, 2881 and 4364. Kryptonite has a very impressive machine. They have a solid autonomous mode, grabbing a ball from the human player, and then Teleop has a very quick 2-ball delivery into the high goal. Nice performing robot that we will be seeing again in the top 25, I'm sure, in the future. Good luck later this season to 624.
I didn't really get a chance to watch 624 at all, so I know, some people on paper, you hear semifinal exit and they're like, oh my god, overrated. So I really don't know anything about this team, and I know 624. This is one of the few robots I really didn't get a chance to watch at all.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to our 13th ranked team. That's going to be Team 359. And from Waialua, Hawaii, and Waialua High School and interim school, it's the Hall of Fame Hawaiian Kids. An overall record of 13-6, and they were the finalists at the Hunemi Port Regional this past weekend. So every year we really talk about the World Tour that 359 goes on. Yeah. So they crossed the ocean for this past weekend's event, and they will compete again this coming weekend at the Ventura County Regional. Then they're going to return home for their hometown regional in Hawaii. Then they're going to return back to the continental United States for the Utah regional, and then attend champs. There's like a week or two in between those two, so I'm not sure if they're going to go back to Hawaii and then come back again. But
I think they get new students each time, so they must.
They could, yeah. I'm not sure the very inner workings of that if they take different sets, but I know we see Glenn all over, and he's just amazing, and we adore your team as always. So with all that being said, 359 at I had to think Hunemi would go 9-3 through qualifications. They had an above a 3.0 ranking score average with a 3.08 actually, and they would captain the number 2 alliance, selecting 973 and 2945. So the Hawaiian Kids have a great. They can score from anywhere, and is a really well, programmed autonomous mode. It's just one of those. It's like very deliberate with every single move that they make, and it's obviously that's what autonomous is, but like it's just just well done. So any regular to top 25 knows like we really don't make predictions. We don't really care to do that. But my personal opinion is that we're going to see 359 team up with 4414, who they lost to at Hunemi when this coming weekend at the Ventura County Regional. So I think that they'll come out with the dub there, but I guess time will tell. I know this. You can make a little fake bet on that if you do the pick on the FRC pick on. So head up to !Discord to be involved in that. And I actually made my picks during the previous show.
One thing I'll say, this is definitely, 359 is a team that, there's always been out there sort of thing, but this is definitely one of their better robots, right? Like 359 is always in the running, but this I think is actually kind of almost another tier that 359 has created. Now, they had a couple key matches. They lost a big match against 973 in qualifying, which to me, that was the nail that I'm like, okay, Citrus is not going to pick 359. In something like that, but obviously ended up seeding, getting back up there and keeping their seat in the ranks so they could pick 973. And it was still a great finals. And of course, we'll be talking about some of the aforementioned teams in a little bit as well too. But yeah, 359 great Hall of Fame team, but building a really impressive robot this year as well too. Delighted to see how well they're doing.
Yeah, great point there, Tyler. All right, moving on from 13 to 12, it's going to be Team 4481 from Eindhoven, Noord-Brabant, Netherlands. It's the Team Rembrandts. They had an overall record of 16-2. They were the winners of the South Florida Regional. So the Rembrandts, a top 25 favorite for sure. A lot of that to their robot play and their reveal videos comes out swinging down here in Florida where I am, going 10-2 in qualifications. Which they would pick up the number 1 seed and wouldn't look back from there. So a really exciting set of finals matches, and the Rembrandt squad would come out victorious. A non-swerve driver robot, which is, as we've mentioned now a couple times, it's crazy to think that, at least with this set of teams, is in the minority. Usually swerve drive a few years ago was like one team would do it well, more teams would do it, but do it poorly. So a lot of teams are doing it well this year, which they don't have, but are just flying around the field as well. They deliver cargo quickly and easily to the high goal. So it's just another team in our top 25 that is competing in back-to-back weeks. They'll be in Orlando this weekend. So I'm going to try to get out there. My wife is working on Saturday, so I'm going to try to get out and just take in some matches, I think. So we'll see. But it's,
I can tell you this team is not going to
action.
the Netherlands and coming back. They are staying in Florida.
They are not. They are staying in Florida. Well, it was funny because on the show yesterday, I think you said, tell us what team you're from and where you're, or like, tell us what team and where you're from. Somebody in chat wrote 4481 from Orlando or something like that, or from Florida.
Nice.
I was like, I see what you did there. It was funny. It was good.
By way of Florida.
Yeah, right. So good luck to 4481.
4481, I thought, when they came out with their more of the reveal videos, and then, of course, another Open Alliance team that we've seen on there. And by the way, sorry if I missed any of the others. They were actually shooting a lot of low hubs, and so I actually thought they were going to come out really just focusing only on low. And seeing, I was really excited to see, like, is it possible that we could have a top tier team only shooting low? But no, they do shoot some low. You can see even in this match, but they actually kind of do this one high, one low is look like what they end up doing for it, which is kind of interesting to see. But I think I remember talking to them probably 4 or 5 weeks ago or something like that, and they mentioned that was a possibility that they were just going to try to shoot 2 out as quickly as possible, have one go high and one go low, so they wouldn't have the potential to bounce into each other, and that looks like the strategy they were going on. That I'm sure they kind of want to get their accuracy down a little bit more. They're very quick cyclers, but occasionally some of their balls are still bouncing out, or their cargo is bouncing out. So excited to see 4041 just continue some greatness. By the way, returning world champions in 2019 since the last time we had it.
Very cool. All right, and last team two, before we get into our top 10, is going to be Team 33 from Auburn Hills, Michigan, and Notre Dame Preparatory School. It's the Killer Bees. An overall record of 17-2, and they were the winners in the Detroit District event. So it's always so great to see the Killer Bees here in the top 25. Another year and another incredible machine from 33. I'm looking at chat. They said we don't deserve 11. This Rev Drive robot can just out-muscle maneuver its defense and even has accurate scoring through some pushing and shoving. They have the LEDs on that robot for the driver feedback and a quick ground intake to shooting mechanisms. Mid-level hang as well to finish the match, and they had a 2.25 ranking score average through qualification, so a bit lower than kind of we've been seeing at some other events and the teams that are surrounding them. But don't matter. That doesn't matter when the wins pile up and you bring home that blue banner. So good luck at your next district event, which is Belleville later this month, and then on to MSC. So a couple of fun people in the chat. PJ is also saying kind of a reputation rank there. And that's kind of just, we were talking a little bit earlier in chat too. It's not a perfect system. It's like the voting is sometimes other people at events kind of influence. You vote for other people that you were mostly seeing and stuff. So kind of what we say about there is make sure you vote, tell your team to vote. And the more people that vote like around the country, the more evened out it should become. So
yeah.
Congratulations to Team 33 there at the 11th spot.
The one thing I will, I'll kind of go both ways on 33. So 33 has a lot more potential than what they showed at Detroit 1. On the other hand, they were only about one or two other, I hate to say decent, but above par teams, I'll say, at Detroit. There were a lot of rough teams at Detroit in regards to performance on there. So, if you look at like their qual score, for example, well, it's kind of hard to get a higher qual score when you're the only robot that climbs in a match or something like that, and you can't get that extra RP.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think that's part of it. 11th, sure, maybe a little high for them. Do they deserve to be on top 25? Yeah, I think absolutely they do. And they're a team that, I think it's just going to keep rising up even more in regards to performance as well. And I look forward to seeing at their next event of them making the improvements they're looking for.
Very good.
By the way, apparently PJ is the referee in the lower right-hand corner here. So
apparently,
shout out to PJ and Steve, our host
I know,
for
PJ.
FRC recap is the game announcer for this, or one of the game announcers.
PJ, I was just kidding. I see you.
Thanks to Kettering University for their support of this video. Kettering University hosts 3 co-op employment fairs each year for incoming and current students. Participating in the co-op employment process at Kettering is a great way to begin turning robotics experience into a professional career to earn money towards graduating debt-free. If you are a senior, it's not too late to apply at kettering.edu/apply. Thanks to Stryker Careers for their support in this video. First alumni and mentors are making Stryker a top priority for their internships and careers. That's because Stryker knows that those in First are the leaders and innovators of tomorrow. If you want to help make the world a better place by creating life-saving medical devices and technology, get started at careers.stryker.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.